So I know the fish are going to chase less. They're going to be harder to trigger, and that is why I'm going to go to some reaction tools. As we see some fish feeding in the cold just off to our left over here, which is a good sign. That's a great sign for me that, you know, we're seeing this cold front scenario. We're seeing this activity. But I'm going to reaction baits, mainly because what I was talking about before. These fish are not going to be chasing as much. They're going to be inactive. They're not going to be feeding as much. So I've got to use tools that are going to create a reaction, that are going to trigger a strike. And here, the first two that I'm going to talk about are the absolute best at doing that. And the first one is the lipless bait. This is a Rippin wrap. The lipless bait category is fantastic at taking fish from a negative mood and getting a reaction strike. And that's what we're dealing with in these conditions. So this is going to be one of the first weapons that I'm going to look for, and I use a variety. This is another key deal. Is I don't know what is going to be the color, what is going to be the size of the bait, the sound chamber, the wobble nature of the bait. I don't know exactly what they're going to react to because things are changing. It's getting tougher. So I always use a clip in my fishing, and you can see that little clip there that I attach that bait to the line with. And the reason why I do that, especially when I'm faced with adverse conditions, is it allows me to be versatile. I can really quickly and efficiently change from a big, you know, a bigger bait to a smaller size. I can just pop it on the clip and boom, all of a sudden I have a different sound and a different size, a different presence in the water. That, you know, super quick. Capitalize on, we have a really bright sunny day. Red is a great color in the springtime. A lot of times a year it's a great color, but we have a lot of sunshine today. So I want to be able to switch over to a chrome or a gold to capture on the flash, and the snap allows me to do that. This bait can run really deep. It's a great bait for running in depths 4, 5, and 6 feet. If I need a bait that runs shallower, that has a wider wobble, the snap allows me to change real quick. Here's a bait that has a wider presence in the water and a much bigger vibration. So I always use a snap, and it helps me be real versatile with this bait. Now, this is one of the new casting icons. This is the John Cruz 710 cranking rod. This is a deep cranking rod. Well, why? You know, I'm not deep cranking with these lipless baits. Why do I choose this rod? I love this rod this time of year because the height of the rod allows me to work these baits really slow in the shallow water. And we have a really shallow water fishery here. So I can raise my rod tip really high, and I can work that bait slow, because a lot of times I gotta be slower in the falling water temperatures. And if I'm burning it too fast, a lot of times I can't trigger that strike. So that tall rod allows me to fish this bait slow in shallow water without digging in the bottom so hard. I love that bait for that purpose. And the length of the rod is outstanding. Allows me to keep pressure on the fish. It allows me to keep those fish pinned. And that's so important because once again, we're dealing with fish that aren't, boom, they're not choking it. They're not slamming it. They're swiping at it. They're knocking it sideways. We may just have one hook in the fish. So we need a rod that can really pick up that slack, that can keep pressure on that fish. So that's really important to me. And I'm using a fluorocarbon line most all the time when I'm fishing my lipless baits. I'm using fluoro. There are times when I'll go up to braid when there's heavy grass, heavy vegetation. It's so thick that I will go up to a 20-pound braided line that allows me to really pop that bait through the grass nicely when the grass gets really mature. But this time of year, a lot of times in the early spring, we don't have that. So I'm choosing fluorocarbon. I'm using 10 to 16 pound test fluorocarbon, depending on the depth that I want this bait to run. The skinnier the line, the deeper I'm going to be able to get this bait. The fatter the line, the 16 pound test, and even 20 at times, is going to allow me to fish this bait a little shallower. So This is one of the first weapons that I'm going to go to. Got a cold front last night. You can bet I'm going to have a lipless crankbait tied on my deck.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.